Kia ora team, welcome to another Toatakai at home training session. Today we've got a little bit of yoga, stretching, mobility work. Going to work our balance and strength and also get our hips nice and open to improve our kicks. So first one, a bit more kind of traditional yoga style. Just staying with our feet next to each other and we're just bending down. Whoa, hands all the way down, stretching through those hamstrings. And we're going to plant the hands on the ground and jumping back to push-up position. And push, little push-up, nice and slowly down. And lifting that chest up. All right, let's push back into our down dog position. We can walk the calves out just a little bit if we need. And we're going to start with the right leg. We're going to lift it straight up, nice and high as you can point that foot. And then we're going to scorpion, kind of hop kick it all the way back, up and around, keeping that chest and hips nice and open. And from this position, we're going to take that same right foot, come in and step up towards our hands, and lifting up into our crescent lunge. So hold this position for a little bit, keeping that knee off the ground, nice strong frame. And now we're going to rotate from here. In yoga, this is a warrior pose, but for us, it's our kizami or our jab punch. So we want to keep these shoulders in line and try to reach as far as we can. Nice long punch. Now bringing the hands in together into the center. We're going to keep the heels down and just sit down into our back foot, keeping the front leg straight. From here, load up that back foot as we're going to push through nice and strong and rotate for our backhand punch. So we can get this other hand back as well. It's going to help us get these shoulders in line. Reach, reach, reach. And from there, we can bring the other hand back up as we step up. And we can repeat the sequence once again onto the other foot. So bending down, through the hamstrings, and jumping back. Push-up position. Slowly going down and stretching up through the back. Back into our down dog. This time, lifting the left foot up nice and high. And hooking it around to a bit of a scorpion. Keep those hips and shoulders nice and open. And let's step that leg into the middle of the feet. Up for our crescent lunge. Back knee off the ground, nice and strong. And rotating into our kizami, jab punch. Shoulders in line. Nice long reach on that punch. Weight into the back foot, hands together, and sitting down. Try to keep those heels flat on the ground. And now pushing through the backhand and into our backhand punch. Other hand can come out the back, so we keep those shoulders in line. Once again, knee off the ground, and keep reaching and rotating. Hands together, and stepping up. And gonna flow through one more time on each leg. Down. And jumping back. Push up. And up. Down dog. Right leg up. Scorpion. And stepping through. Crescent lunge. Into kizami, jab punch, sitting back, down into that back leg, and pushing from the back, Yakuzuki backhand punch. Good rotation, hands together, stepping up, and back down, hamstring stretch, and jumping back, push down slow, and up, and down dog. Left leg up, nice and high, and scorpion, whip it around. Stepping in the middle, crescent lunge, and up, knees off the ground, rotate, kizami punch, and down to the back foot, sitting back, and pushing off backhand, back leg, rotation, backhand punch.
Hands together and stepping up. Woo. First part done. How simple. All right, into our next session. Next segment. So I'm going to take a Sesssions position, and let's start with the left leg. So we're just going to pull it out and just stretching through the hamstring. So chest up and just leaning forward. See if you can get the belly button as far forward as possible. Trying to feel it in the straight legs hamstring. And we can put that foot flat on the ground. You can extend it out a little bit. And we're gonna push down, trying to get this hip nice and low as we stretch through this hip flexor on the back leg. We can increase the stretch a little bit just by grabbing that back foot and pushing down to the ground on the hips. And release that back leg. We're gonna bring this foot across so it's almost in line with our back foot. Trying to keep this flat. If you need to, we can chuck this hand on here to stop it from moving. So we'd like to try to keep that shin flat and pushing the hips down, stretching through our front glute. Just see if we can keep this hip as low as possible to extend that stretch. And you can let it fall in a little bit as we drop the hip all the way down. And once again, grab that back foot. Want to try to get as low as we can here and pull that foot all the way to our body. And release that foot out. And we're going to rotate this foot around about the knee and come into our front splits. With the front splits, if you want to get a little bit further, there's a couple ways. One, we can either from here try to keep this leg bent without moving the foot, and then we're just trying to kick that heel out a little bit. And once again, I can bend the knee, kick the foot out. Option one. Option two is here. I'm going to try to lift, using my hands, I'm going to lift my back knee up off the ground, so I'm in my foot, and then I can try to let that back foot go back a little bit further. Want to be careful though, not to open up our hips, turn it into side splits. We want to try to keep those hips to the front. So using those two methods, let's see if we can get nice and low. We are, and back to Caesar. Hold that for a second. Relax the hips out a bit. And other leg. So this time, right foot comes out. Nice and straight, heel on the ground. Chest up, hips up, and stretching forward, feeling it through that hamstring. We'll get that foot flat onto the ground. If we need to, we can extend the stance a little bit as we try to drop that back hip. Start to stretch through the hip flexor. Increase the stretch by grabbing that back foot, pulling it into your body, and keeping down to the ground. All right, we'll release that back leg, bring this foot across. Use your hand to try to keep it still as we bring the shin down and rotate that hip down to the ground, stretching through to the glute. We can release that grip a little bit because we're going to need to bring that foot in just as little as we can to drop our hips all the way to the ground. Once we're nice and flat, we can increase the stretch again by grabbing that back foot and lowering down to the body, pulling the foot in closer. And release that back foot, rotate this foot around about the knee, and once again, into our front splits. Increase the stretch by either bending the front knee and kicking out, or by popping up and letting that back foot slide back a little bit further. Let's hold it for another 10 seconds. See how low we can get. And return back to our Caesar. Woo. That's the second segment done. One more to go. Nice fun one now. Really try to open up our hips. So we're going to jump from here straight into our frog position. Just to start off, we can have moving forward and back just a little bit. Just try to release any tension in the groin. All right, from this frog position, what we're gonna do, your left leg is gonna try to stay completely still as I kick out my right foot, keeping my hips here, and I'm just gonna go sit straight down into that gap. We don't wanna sit on the foot or have the foot on the inside. We're trying to keep the foot on the outside and sit in this gap here. This is a little bit hard. We can make this easier or harder by either bringing the foot in, so it's not so tough, or if you really want a good stretch, we wanna try to get that knee out as much as possible, keeping a straight line through here. So just start off, just try to settle into the position. Can feel a bit tight even just holding this. And then from here, we're gonna take backhand to the opposite foot. And we're not just leaning, we're also trying to rotate that belly button, spinning all the way across and rotate and reach, trying to grab that foot. If you can reach the foot, we can use it to try to pull ourselves a little bit further. And not just down, but forward, rotating. All right, that's to the front foot. Now we go to the middle, so hold the seated position, and once again, trying to push forward. Not just down, but away. After we go to the middle, now we're off to the right. So once again, opposite hand, opposite foot, and trying to rotate, not just lean. See how far back and around you can go. And now for the fun one, we're going left, forward, right. Now we're gonna go back. So see if you can hold this position still. All right, you can take a little step by going elbow, elbow, and then see if we can get the back flat on the ground and really feel a stretch through that back hip flexor. And just try to relax into the position. All right, pump back up and back through to frog. And once again, just cycling forward and back. Too easy. And opposite leg. So this time, keeping your right foot still and pop the left leg out, straighten it, and sitting in the gap. Once again, make it a little bit harder by trying to increase that distance. Opposite hand to the side. And now to the middle, chest and hips, belly button, everything going forward. And to the back, rotating all the way across. And for the fun one, so once again, take a little step down by going elbow, elbow, and then just try to get that back flat on the ground. Nice. And we are popping back up, back into frog. From here, we're just going to keep the knees basically stay in space, but we're going to send both of our feet off to your left like this, which ends us in a bit of a half splits kind of position. Hitting 45. So I'm trying to keep this hip flat on the ground. And then from there, we're using our opposite hand and we can grab that back foot. So really trying to feel it in that hip flexor. And release, back to frog. And changing direction. So both feet going off to the side. This foot underneath is right up close to my body. Hip flexor down into the ground. Opposite hand, grabbing the back foot. And release, back to frog. And just to finish, a little bit of a splits. So hopefully our groin, our hamstring are really stretched out, which means we should be getting almost to the maximum splits we can get. With the splits, we want to keep these toes pointed. Even though I can push my heels out further, we actually don't want to stretch the calf too much. So keep the toes pointed and then work on just lowering the hips down. Trying to relax, just hold this for the last minute into this good side splits. Keeping those toes pointed And then if you can, on your out breath, just sinking into the position a little bit lower. Last 10 seconds, see how low we can get it. Release. Oh, after a good split stretch, I like to just throw the knees to the side. Try to recover that tight hips just a little bit. Woo. Nice work, team. That's our little bit of yoga, stretching, balance, strength session. Those stretches we can do anytime. It's going to really help us open up, get those nice kicks. All right, good work, team. Let's keep training over the summer break.